Hey everybody, Steve DeLaviaga. Welcome to our Rev Firm Forum podcast with the amazing, one of my favorite humans in the world, the Jillian Batchelor. How are you,
Thank you, I
beautiful girl?
appreciate it. Wonderful, so glad to be here.
We're going to go through a lot of stuff today. By the way, if you don't have a seatbelt, you should buckle up if you do. Jillian will be going at Mach. What are we doing at Mach? Yeah, that's right.
Let's go.
We only have one speed, 7,500. Now, JB, we have all this commission compression discussion. Oh my gosh, now commission's all negotiable, which we knew it always was. But
Always
there
was.
some perception. Now, commissions are going to go down, realtors are going to make less. Yet in the state of Nevada, and particularly in Las Vegas, commission payments by consumers went up.
Yeah.
Tell me why.
Well, I'll give you the exact reason why. Any good realtor, any realtor that is worth their weight in gold, that knows what they're doing, it should be a trained and expert negotiator. So if I can negotiate the house price for you, if I can negotiate your listing price for you, should I not be able to negotiate my own commission? And so what used to happen in the old ways that real estate was done for 100 plus years, a listing agent like myself would go to the table with the seller and I would pre-negotiate the other agent's commission. Now, I did that.
That's right. If I opened the right door, I got my 2.5, 3, whatever it was, I just got paid.
And if I was a good agent, I wanted the house to sell quickly so my clients got a high dollar value for their property. And so I would want to offer a bigger commission, right?
To get the better agents to pay attention. Yeah, okay.
And the problem with that was, though, is just like what you said. In any other field, if you have a brand new intern come in and let's say
they're driving Uber, they're working at Home Depot, they've done 2 deals in 3 years, but they open the right door, they expect to get paid the same as Jillian Batchelor does.
And I'm an expert in my field. I'm 20 years in, 4,000 transactions. I've negotiated with the best. I have the best partners in the business. I can make a transaction go smooth. Why should you, if you are a brand new realtor, and there's nothing against being brand new realtors, like I was a brand new realtor too, but did I know then what I know now? Did I have the connections then that I have the connections now? Did I have the wherewithal to get a deal accepted when there's multiple offers on the table? Like I do now? No, I absolutely did not. So why, in God's hell name, should I think that I'm worth, as a brand new realtor or an inexperienced realtor, the same as some of the best in the field? That's insanity. No other business would you think that. You wouldn't come in out of medical school and think that you should be paid the same as your expert doctor that's been doing, 7,000 heart surgeries.
You were funny because you were always on the side of, yes, we should lower commissions. I mean, it takes you longer to get your nails license than it does to get a real estate license.
Which is insanity.
You're selling the biggest asset in the world for 95% of the people in the world that are doing it. And you can take 5 days, get a C minus, and expect to make 100 grand as a realtor. And that makes no sense.
No sense. And I'm actually going to say something that's not popular. And realtors out there, please don't kill me. But
this is going to happen a little bit. By
this
the way.
is the truth, right? So I'm going to take over. But I actually think we should require an internship. I think that you should be required as a new realtor because, like you said, you're coming in and handling the largest transaction of someone's life. You can make a huge financial mistake for them that can cost them tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars. Why should you not have to be trained?
There are multiple reasons why I adore you, and this is one of them. I wish it was a $30,000 6-month program to become a realtor.
Oh, and I have an idea about this, okay? I think insurance companies have figured it out. Have you ever heard of the insurance companies that have vanishing deductibles? I think that for me as a realtor, if I've closed X amount of transactions, 100, 500, 3,000, never had a complaint, never had a lawsuit, never had an issue with the division, I should be required to do less continuing education, less maybe CE classes, less maybe fees to my local association than those that are brand new or those that are more of a liability. Because it's like anything. If I drive more, I'm going to be more of an expert driver. So if I'm closing more transactions, I'm more of an expert.
One of the things I used to watch you do, and it was so impressive, but you would carry the other agent, your listing, their buyer, they don't know what to do, they don't know the floor. You're having to do the buy side because you're taking care of your clients. So on the list side, you're having to do the buy side, the mentoring, advice, knowledge. No, honey, don't do that. We got to do this. I watched you do this multiple times. And you never got a dime on the buy side. You were just making sure that your seller got taken care of. But that person's like, I don't know what to do. You're like, well, you have to go get da-da-da. Who's your lender? Wait a second. This guy hasn't done a loan in 12 months. Listen, here's 3 lenders. Use one of them. You were always, what I loved about you was you were always a good heart to help, but you were also like carrying water that you got paid nothing on just to make sure your seller got the deal they needed. True?
Well, absolutely. And let me tell you the problem with that. That's a very delicate line because you want to be a good person. You remember being a new agent at some point. You want to help these agents out. You want to coach them. But you have a fiduciary responsibility to your client to negotiate the best deal. So because, let's just say I'm the listing agent, and in this case, it's the buyer's agent, because this buyer chose an agent that is not, experienced, they don't know what they're doing. should I then help that agent do a better job for their client, which is actually going against my client's best needs? Yes, we all want to close a deal, so that's why I say it's delicate.
Yeah.
We want to get the deal to the finish line.
Plus,
So
the
you wanna
offer
help.
made sense. The number was what the
Absolutely.
number was. You're like, I don't want to lose this, but you're also like,
But
come
I
on,
can
my
tell
dear.
you, Steve, let me tell you how many times I've seen mistakes. I've seen mistakes where agents have not realized it until the closing,
Yep.
that maybe they put one less zero. This is a real thing. An agent meant to ask for $7,000 in closing costs on my listing. They asked for $700. At closing, when the lender called out the mistake, the agent tried to come to me and say, oh, no, we need $6,300 more. And I said, well, absolutely not. You're asking me to go to my client to harm them $6,300 difference. Now, this is when we're in escrow for 30 days.
Well,
Because the
this
agent
is
made a mistake.
realtors. If you're listening, listen. No problems in the 8th or 9th inning. Doesn't work. Jillian could solve any problem in the
beginning.
3rd inning.
Yeah.
If it was 8 days in, she said, I made a mistake. Needs to be 7,000. Okay, let me go set expectation. See, the problem is when you are asked to solve problems in the 8th or 9th inning of a transaction, now you hurt relationship. You hurt your client. You look like the dummy, and you had nothing to do with it.
Well,
right?
and even beyond that, Steve, let's dive into this for a second really quick here. Again, if it was on day 1, day 2, day 5, we could work it out.
No harm, no foul.
Now, 30 days later, my client has now gone and purchased another home, assuming that they're making another $6,300. So now why should their transaction on the other end be harmed because your agent made a mistake or didn't look through their contracts, they didn't have a compliance division,
Didn't
they
do
didn't
their
have an
job.
assistant, they didn't have somebody double checking, they didn't go to their broker, all these things that agents do. So back to your point, agents are not created equally. We shouldn't make the same. And so what I love now, which is where I think you're going with this, what I love now is that I'm in control of my own destiny. And so is every other agent out there. So as a buyer's agent, when I'm the buyer's agent, I get to negotiate for my own commission. I love this, and this is why you're seeing commissions go up. Because you have the good agents out there that are putting in the offers based on the net of their offer, what they expect to receive. Now it's negotiable like it always has been, but a good agent's gonna know how to fight for their commission. They're gonna know how to fight for their worth.
This is an important nugget if you're listening. Here's the reality. Commissions are based on the value you provide and the way in which you explain how you provide it. That's it, the end. Now, why there are less agents in the United States is people that can't provide or explain their value are now working at Home Depot, Lowe's, or driving Uber. Fine, great, no harm, no foul. Those are all great jobs, go do them. If you're gonna be a real estate practitioner, a real estate professional, you are gonna sit there and go, I'm going to explain to you why I'm worth what I'm worth. And I can tell you, as someone that buys homes regularly in places, I want the best agent. I want someone who's the most knowledgeable. I want to pick this fight. And I want them as my lion walking forward to me as we go make this deal. And because they're like, I got it. You need to go relax. Don't be emotional. I got this. This is what I do every day. I've done 4,000 of these. Bam. You put Jillian Batchelor on a deal. You get to go play golf, relax, and be like, how we doing, kiddo? And you're like, don't worry about it. I'll let you know when I need you. I don't need you. Boom. Now, instead, you have some new agent going, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this? I always say, I don't buy a dog and then sit at the front door and bark too. The dog's job is to bark. You're my pup. You're going to go make sure this works. And if it doesn't, you're going to come back and go, this is the reality. This is what we got, right?
Yeah.
And I think this is important. Less realtors making more money is what's happening now. And by the way, it should happen. You agree, disagree?
Absolutely, I think it should. And you know what we're doing on my team and in my company? What we're doing is we're actually expecting our agents to be trained to the best level. You know, if you go and you become a Marine, they don't just put you on the front line day 1. They put you through basic training, they put you into intensive training, and then if you want to go up the ranks, you continue to get trained.
Why is the SEAL training the hardest training in the world?
Because they want you to be the best in the world.
You know why they want? They want you to quit. I don't want the ones that won't
Oh, they
quit.
only want the best, yeah.
All right. I am blessed that I get to know you and know who you are, right? And those of you who don't know, you get to see the beautiful Jillian, photos, Instagram, and she's stunning and she's amazing. But let's be clear, it has not been all gumdrops and rainbows for this young lady, just so we understand each other. Your first husband committed suicide.
Yeah.
You were how old?
So I got married at 18.
Walk this story, yep.
My
Married at
first-
18.
Married
No.
at 18. My first husband committed suicide when I was 21. Now,
Babies yet? Not yet.
no babies yet, thank goodness, or maybe not thank goodness for that. See, the key is and actually I'm actually really happy that and I didn't know you were gonna bring this up, but I'm actually really happy you did. See, this was 20 plus years ago.
I know.
But even today, people don't talk enough about mental health. We're getting better as a society, but they don't talk about men with mental health. And I know that I'm a woman, but I'm very passionate about this. Men are raised in society, you're supposed to be strong and just be a baron and be a protector and a provider and, you know, don't have a feeling, don't cry, don't be upset, don't be depressed. So if you would have asked me, I was married to this man for 3 years. I would have never told you dealt with depression. I didn't know that because he was a handful
Well,
of years
plus,
older than
you're
me.
married at 18. And
Yep.
what was he? How old was he?
He was 24.
All right, so he's like, I gotta provide, I gotta take care
Protect.
of that. But men, that's considered weakness to do that. That was
Absolutely.
especially back then, 20
Yeah.
years ago. It was like, hey, I just need to go do my thing.
Yep.
So here you are, 18, married, 24, and
And this was a man who never saw a counselor, never went and saw a therapist, never was on anything. And now, in fairness, I'm also a person that doesn't deal with depression. So I wake up every day and I'm happy. And so when you don't know, you don't know, right?
Correct.
And so if you don't deal with something, it's like if someone deals with MS, I don't deal with MS, I don't know what it is, right? So if you don't deal with it, you don't know. So I didn't recognize the signs. And I just thought, like, if you're having a bad day, you know, he'd go and maybe go out drinking with the boys, and then he'd come home, maybe pass out, and the next day I thought we'd be okay. Like, no big deal. Didn't discuss it, didn't really talk about it. And so I'll tell you, we actually got pregnant, and unfortunately I had a miscarriage a couple months in.
happens a lot, by the way.
And very common, and I didn't know at the time, and I thought, oh my gosh, like this is terrible. Now, to fast forward, or to rewind, I'm sorry. My husband, at the time, he had been with somebody previous to me. He had a fiance before me, and they gave birth to a stillborn baby.
Oh.
So he thought at the time, it's me. I've been with two women that now have not been able to have a living baby.
He thought it was him.
He thought it was him. He thought he was the problem because the common denominator is same man, two different women, lost two babies. And of course, I'm upset and I'm thinking, I want to have another baby. You know, we're married, we have a house, we have good jobs.
You want kids? Yep.
And he's thinking, no way, like I can't go through this a third time. Now, me not understanding his pain because I didn't go through giving birth to a stillborn baby, I can't even imagine the pain that people
your
feel.
mindset is like, okay, let's just go again. We'll do another. We'll do another.
And you knowing me, even though I was only 3.5 months pregnant, I already had furniture in the nursery. I already had a crib. I was already thinking boy names, girl names. I was going. So of course I'm like, we need to have another baby. And he's like, no, I can't go through this again. And I think coupling all of that together, I think I might have pushed a little bit more than I should have. But just knowing me and not understanding.
Well, hindsight's 20/20, reality is not. So keep going.
It's not. So
So you're widowed at?
So I'm widowed at just under 22.
Oh God.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, like, am I not meant to be married? Am I not meant to have kids? But
What
I'm
did
not
I do
even,
wrong? All the things that we do when something like that happens.
But I'm not even 22. But I knew my whole life I wanted to have children. So I knew, of course, at some point I'm going to get remarried and I'm going to, you know, have
So
babies.
you're 21. You're widowed. You're
In real estate already.
in real estate, which is not like a steady paycheck. Things aren't easy. Now what?
And for me, the way that I dealt with the pain, and it was, let me tell you, I've never buried a child, thank goodness, but to bury a spouse is probably the second worst thing you can do.
Agreed.
I dived into work because I was like, well, I don't want to be home. No one wants to be home in this house. It's quiet now. And I started working, and I was probably working, Steve, 80 hours a week at the time. And it
I'm not so
actually,
sure you don't do 80 hours now, but
yeah,
continue.
but it actually made me a great realtor. And I hate to say out of that tragedy, but you always have to find something positive out of tragedy. It made me a great realtor. It also made me have an immense gratitude for things in life. It also made me have an immense empathy for people that might be struggling with things, not just depression, but things that I don't understand.
I think you do this amazingly well. You have the ability, and I've watched you do it. People of wealth, people with a job, people with nothing. I've watched you hold people's hands. I've watched you grab them. And I think that probably at the age of 21-ish, probably gave you that thing where you can relate. I've watched you talk to somebody worth $1 billion. I've watched you talk to somebody who can't afford to rent a $1,200 apartment, and you treat them the same.
Well, and I'll tell you, my favorite saying is about that. It says, I appreciate what I have, not because I have so much, but because I know what it is to have so little. And I don't just mean that financially, but I can appreciate other people's marriages because I know how it is to be a widow. I can appreciate other people's children and my children because I know how it is to have lost a child.
The other nugget she just gave, if you heard it, her husband dies. She's a 21-year-old widow. You can hide, you can go in the tank, you can go home to mom and dad or whatever. She chose to dive into the job. So many times when we're having trouble in marriage or trouble with kids or trouble with things, you have to dive into something positive, not something negative. And you chose to be like, all right, either I go home with my tail between my legs, I help me, or I go, I am going to dive into this and be great. Tell me about the next 2 years of that. So you bury your husband,
Yep.
you're
So
terribly
my next,
sad, and then the next 2
well, my
years.
next year, I'll tell you, I became Rookie of the Year at my company.
How many deals you do? Watch this. This is
I,
great. by the way.
yeah, I did 65 deals.
In 1 year as a rookie.
Technically in 9 months, but I'll tell you, in 9 months, I did 65 deals because I'd just gotten licensed right before he passed away. And while grieving, while going through all of this, because, I had a choice in that moment. I think this is important really quick. When he passed away, I had a choice. This was either going to take me down or this was going to give me something to live for.
Oh, I'm sad. I can't do this again. I'm going to go home. I'm going to do, or I'm like, and this is the hardest part. When you're having trouble with any relationship or otherwise, if you let the job become less, your options become minimal. If you'd have gone home, you would have had no options. You're like, I'm going to create options by just diving into work. And that gave you your choices for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, correct?
Yeah. And that choice in that moment to not let it take me down, but to you either allow something to break you down or you allow it to make you. And so that choice, luckily I met my second husband 11 months later. And I met him driving on the freeway. And I was like,
Sorry, whoa. What were you doing on the freeway?
we were racing. We were racing each other on the freeway. And
If you know her now, this is standard
I
operating
am a
procedure, so
speed
continue,
racer
please.
for sure. And so we're racing each other on the
What
freeway.
were you driving?
I was driving a G35 Infiniti, and I was still a sports car, and I was racing him, pulled over, got my number, went out with him a couple weeks later. First date, I told him, I said, I'm gonna marry you. I just knew it. I was like, I'm gonna marry you. We got engaged 6 weeks later. We were married 3 months after that with a large wedding. We didn't just elope, 150 people, big, huge wedding. 3 months, yeah. So from the day I met him to the day we were married, 4.5 months. I was like, let's go. Like, yeah, I told you day one, I'm gonna marry you, that's it, let's go. If you don't know, it's your
I got a
problem.
feeling he didn't really he had no choice, really.
No
Continue,
choice, no
yes,
choice,
this
not
is
at all.
good.
And and then I had a beautiful life with him, 3 children. Now 2 of our daughters are in college. One's about to graduate on May 15th.
I know.
Super excited. My other daughter's a freshman in college, and then our son is a junior in high school.
Congratulations.
And and I'll tell you, I'm gonna be very vulnerable because you want to get real for a second. That marriage did end in divorce after 17 and a half years. And you know what? I always tell people, that's a successful marriage. People will say, well, you got divorced. No. A successful marriage, we built a beautiful life together.
100%.
We have 3 beautiful, healthy kids. We talk every day.
By the way,
he's like one of my best friends. I like him better now that we're not married.
You have such a cool ability. It's not what happens to you. It's relevant what happens to you. It's what you respond to what happens.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. And this one decides, okay, we can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that all was bad. That was amazing.
No.
That was the best thing.
And let me tell you this, because I want to tell people this. When we chose to get divorced, when I chose to get divorced, we didn't drag each other to court. We never went to court, ever. No court dates, no attorneys. I thought, I'm a negotiator. Let me just offer you a settlement. You counter me, I counter you, you counter me. It's like a tennis match.
Yeah.
We're going to come back. We didn't have to drag each other apart. We didn't have to drag our kids through the mud. We never said a bad word about each other. So divorce doesn't have to be an ugly thing. It doesn't. People think you have to now, this is your enemy. The other day I was driving somewhere and I thought, well, this was a couple months ago. Everything with me is the other day. But a couple months ago I'm driving somewhere and I'm like, something happened. And my emergency, like if I don't call 911, my emergency is I'm gonna call my ex-husband. Like he'll come and save me. If something happens, I'm gonna call my ex-husband. He'll ride on the white horse in 2 seconds. He'll come and save me. Now, when I get remarried, I probably shouldn't do that anymore. But I'm telling you, but that's how your relationship should be. Just because you're not married to somebody doesn't mean you don't love them. Doesn't mean it wasn't a success. Things can be, but you know what? All that is, Steve. All of it. It's a choice, like you just said. It's how you choose to react to things that go on in your life.
One of the reasons why my top realtors, and you are absolutely one, is they all have a reaction based on positivity. They never let it take them to the south. It always goes north. And it's either a challenge or an opportunity or da. And what's amazing to you is when I ask you what the market is, the market's great. People want to talk about the market. The market's exactly what you think it is. If you think it's a crappy market, it's a crappy market. If you think, oh my gosh, no one's going to buy a house because they can't get out of 3.25 loans, no one's going to sell a house. By the way, you're selling houses every day.
Every day.
This is one of your best years ever.
Yeah,
right?
We've actually had the last 3 years have been great years for
No,
us.
I know. Well, you know why? Because you are always thinking this way. And so would you argue that mindset might be the greatest tool or skill any realtor could have?
It's the greatest skill anybody can have. I tell my children this every single day.
Good girl.
It is the greatest skill anybody can have because when things change, not if, everything in
always
life
change.
changes. I don't care what business you're in. It is your job, it is your duty to re-educate yourself on whatever the changes are and pivot with the wheel. There's always opportunity. I don't care what business you're in. This doesn't have anything to do with real estate at all.
All right, so we're staying in vulnerability, right?
Okay.
We stay here. You're stunning. You're killing it in real estate. You have 3 kids. You're, and by the way, I've had the blessing to watch her with her children. They adore her. She's not like one of those moms that like giving the Heisman when she's on the phone when she walks in. She has her children time and they get spoiled and adored. Then she has her work time. And by the way, she doesn't apologize for the work time. You don't go, I'm so sorry, I have to go to work. You're like, Mom has to go do this. I'll be back at da-da-da. We're going to do da-da-da. So talk about as a woman, which is not easy, as you know. Well, you and I know a lot of women who have one in real estate failed in life, one in real estate failed in marriage, one in real estate failed as a mom. You've been able to do all 3. You've been able to do what I would call the triple threat as a woman. How do you do it?
Well, first off, let me provide gratitude to my ex-husband for that.
Yeah.
Because he did allow me to do a lot of the things, and I say allow, and I don't mean that meaning like I was subservient, but he allowed me to go and travel when I wanted to be on boards. He allowed me to go and do things that filled my cup and didn't hold me back from that. So if anything, I want to show gratitude to him, number one.
Awesome.
So very, very important right there.
But it could be an ex-husband, could be a current husband, could be your mom or
anybody.
dad, could be somebody that allows you to go build you so that you can become, because you've built this empire. So continue.
And so secondly, then I want to show gratitude to my children for that. Now let me tell you this. I live in a very heavily LDS neighborhood. If anyone knows anything.
So I live in Gilbert, so I got you.
Okay. So then this is not a religious thing, but if anyone knows anything about the LDS culture, most of the women are stay-at-home wives, and their greatest job in the world is to raise their children, which is amazing. That is the most important job you could ever have as a person, as a parent. And then most of the time the men go out and they'll actually say they do the least important job, which is go make the money, because it's more important to raise your children.
1,000%.
So in my marriage, at the time, I was very lucky to be very passionate about real estate, and I was able to retire my husband very, very early on. We were married 4 years. I was able to retire him out of his business. And he was a stay-at-home parent for a lot of years. I mention this because, like I said, I live in a very heavily LDS community. There's 80 homes. 56 of the households are LDS, so more than 50%.
I'm in 36. There's 24 LDS, 12 heathen. So yes,
so you get it, okay.
I'm on the heathen side, but continue. Good.
So I was, for a long period of time, not now, but for a long period of time, I was the only working wife in the neighborhood. My husband was the only husband in the group chat of the carpool. So it was very polar opposite. The reason why I mention that is I want to show gratitude to my kids. They allowed me to break the societal chain of this is what a woman should be and this is what a man should be, and they allowed us to parent, and he did some duties and I did some duties, and then we did some duties together. So with that, real estate and building businesses and impacting people's lives is so important to me. It's not about the money. The money is a byproduct of freedom.
100%.
Freedom is amazing, right?
All we're doing is buying barter. All we're doing is buying barter. That's all we're doing.
And we're buying opportunity. But for me, what was more fulfilling for me was about the impact that I was able to make in people's lives. I was able to, off of my work ethic, employ people. I was able to start companies. I have 27 people on my team now.
Mentor your younger agents who needed your time. So let me, this is so critical to what we're going to talk about in real life and real estate. You did such an amazing job, I think, of setting expectations.
Yeah.
Expectations with your children. You didn't apologize for going to have to go to work. You did work, right? You and your husband would agree on what the rules were, ex-husband, what the rules were. I'm going to go do this. And by the way, when you start apologizing for something that's not wrong, you're already wrong. So talk about how you set expectations with kids, ex-husband. By the way, clients, if a client calls you when you were with your daughter's recital, you're like, hey, I'm at my daughter's recital. Does this need to be me right now?
Yeah.
No, great. I'll call you in the morning. Thank you so much. I'll call you in
Call you in an hour,
and by the
whatever
way,
it is.
no one cared, did they?
No. They actually respected it.
Talk about expectation setting, because I would say, as a woman, you might be one of the best I've ever seen about, I'm going to give you my expectation. I'll live to it. And by the way, nobody ever goes, oh yeah, I need to talk to you right now during your daughter's recital. They said, oh my God, baby, call me back when you're done.
They were like, why are you even answering? Call me back when you're done. Exactly.
100%.
They understood. So I would say, setting expectations, for me, it was building businesses in real estate is a passion.
Yes.
And, I heard a quote the other day that said, no one gets burned out when you're winning. And so if you're actually doing something.
Sorry, slow down. No one gets burned out when you're winning. Now explain it.
Now again, this is all mindset. I don't care if you got your teeth kicked in today in real estate. You got your teeth kicked in with the babies with the diapers. You're sick. If you have the mindset of no matter what, I'm winning, you're not going to get burned out. And I didn't get burned out. So I set expectations, and I explained to my kids at a very young age, this is what fills my bucket. Babies, you fill my bucket too when I'm with you. Husband, you fill my bucket when I'm with you. But building businesses and building something that I can call a success and impacting people's lives, that fills my bucket. So if you want a happy mommy, if you want a happy wife, you have to let me fill my bucket. And they saw that created a happy person. And the difference with parenting versus business, and this is for men or women, it doesn't matter. With parenting, it kind of takes a long time to see that your children didn't wind up being murderers or, going to jail. It takes a long time to see that you're parenting and your level of success.
100%.
Where in business, you can close a transaction, you feel accomplished. You got a paycheck, you got an award, you feel accomplished. You built something, you feel accomplished. So my kids understood at a young level that I needed to have that.
But you set that expectation?
Oh, I absolutely did, and I let them know. And I said, but the one thing, Steve, I will tell you, I was home probably 90% of the time, every night by dinner time.
By the way,
always home on weekends.
You should be.
Always.
If you told your client, hey, I don't show homes after 5 because I have to make dinner for my kids, I have 3 beautiful kids I love, you know what the client would say? Great, what time we meet in the morning?
Yep, exactly.
See, we do this to ourselves. We set a 24/7, 365 calendar and then wonder why we're always, oh my God, I'm so busy. Oh my God, my life's a mess. Give the expectation. And I love what you said. Every woman that I work with that runs a family, a husband, a business, and a life, they are amazing expectation setters. And by the way, your kids will come and go, Mom, did we win today? I guarantee you got that question from your kids.
Oh,
Mom,
absolutely.
did we get a deal today? Mom, how we do it? They're rooting for you while you're at work. Because when you got home, that phone got put in a little drawer somewhere, and you were all about them. True or true?
Absolutely. And you know what I would do when they went to bed? If my husband didn't need me, or if my husband was out, or if he was doing something, if he was in the garage working on something, then I could check my emails again.
Yeah.
Then it was appropriate. It was all about setting those appropriations and expectations. And my clients knew that I was a working woman and that I was a mother and that I wanted to be home. I have a passion for cooking. But setting the expectations.
You don't eat, but you have a great passion for cooking. I love this
I
about
do
you.
now. But, it's, and I actually want to touch on something on that too there for a second. But it's just really about, I also taught my children, I have 2 girls and a boy. I taught my children, it's okay, and in fact, it's more than okay. It should be celebrated when you're passionate about something that you get to have a life to outside of being a parent. Some people, their kids are their whole lives, but then the kids go up and move away, and then what do you have?
It never works.
And a lot of actual
works.
relationships go into divorce after that. And so I was teaching my children, it's okay for you to have something that is yours. It's okay for you to have something that makes you happy, makes you passionate, fulfills your bucket beyond the family, beyond family time.
One of the things that I got to really enjoy about you is, you see the Instagram. I mean, you're beautiful, you're fun, you're gorgeous, you're exciting. And then I saw you, in flip-flops and Lululemons and, cleaning a frickin', a outside area because you didn't like how it looked.
Oh, yeah.
I adore this about you, and I think this is important. You take the same passion to cleaning your outside area when the kids' friends are coming over to be there because you want it to be nice, as you do taking a $10 million buyer to look at a listing. And I think that in people's worlds, if you want to do real estate, there is no even keel. We don't have it. Never do you say, oh my God, I'm perfect. I have the right amount of buyers, right amount of sellers, everything's really good. It's either I'm winning, I'm losing, I'm killing it, I'm dying. This is what it is. But if you can stay even keel with a process of, I have my work time, I have my kid time, I have my family time, and then I still need my me time. And I've watched how you've mentored. I tell women all the time, you want to talk, I've referred you probably 15 people to say, talk to her about how she does what she does. Because again, Instagram is your highlight reel.
Yeah.
But the reality is, if I watched you at your house, it's the same thing, only it's cleaning the outside area because the kids are bringing 10 kids over, you want it to look great. Or it's the dinner you're cooking for 20 people that you're not even going to even eat, but you're going to take care of them. So as a woman in this space, which 74% of you out there are women in this space, give me one nugget. If you're a woman in this space, what's one thing you have to do to be happy, healthy, and win here in real estate? Give me one thing.
You have to choose your life by design. And so I was able to decide the way that I wanted to work. Now, luckily, I came from what I call a real job. I came from escrow.
Yes, you did.
Escrow has normal.
Come on, title. Let's go.
Yes,
Title. Shout out to you.
I was title work. Yep. So I was there. So I was used to working regular business hours. Title generally is like 8 to 5. So when I got into real estate, I just thought, well, I'm going to work 8 to 5. Now, granted, there's exceptions, you guys. I get it. There's sometimes your client flies in at 4 o'clock. They want to fly out in the next morning. There's exceptions to everything. But in general, I was like, I'm just going to set business hours. I'm going to work from 8
By the way,
in the morning.
95% of your clients follow business hours.
Follow business hours, right?
Because you know why? You gave it to them.
Exactly, and I told them that that's when I'm available, and if the houses are occupied, that's when people want to show them anyways, but you work around it. So I set business hours. So it's funny, now, the last 5 years of my life, I've made more money than I ever had in my whole life, and I work less. I'm being honest, I work less.
Of course you do.
I get into my office, I typically try to get in every day around 9, give or take 15 minutes or so.
But you do something mental, emotional, physical in the morning, don't you?
I do. Yeah, so actually let me start. Let me do my whole day. You guys ready for this?
There we go, that's what I want.
I wake up Monday through Friday, 5:20. Why 5:20? I don't know. It's a random time. I picked it. It's 5:20. Okay. I go to a gym class at 6:15. So I have to leave my house at 5:55. I know this is very methodical. Okay.
Nope.
I get up. I get my coffee. Brush my teeth. Wash my face. Whatever. Out of the door at 5:55. I get to the gym at 6:05. It's 8 minutes from my house. I get 10 minutes to talk to my girlfriends because I'm a social butterfly. Then I get to work.
I love you.
I go to Orange Theory, which the entire time I am sweaty mess. I am not that pretty girl in the gym. My hair's in a ponytail. I am sweating from places you don't even want to know. But I'm there to put in work. Because if I'm doing something, I'm doing it all the way.
Organic podcast. Stay with us. Go.
Yeah,
Keep going.
yeah. Let me tell you. So, and I can't breathe. I am killing it, right? And I'm pushing myself. The reason why I like Orange Theory, you wear a heart monitor. This isn't an Orange Theory commercial, but I just like it because you get a little gamified. They put it up on the board. You see everyone's calories, how much they burned, all that. So I like that I can gamify it. So for 1 hour, I'm kicking ass. I leave that gym. I'm sweaty, nasty, need to go home and shower. Gross. Get home, 7:25, I'm home. Shower, boom, out of my house by 8:25 to 8:45, depending on if I took some phone calls. I'm in the office by 9:15. Then I'm in my office, depending on appointments and such, but I'm home by 5 to 5:30 each night. Now then, if I want to go out with my girlfriends, grab a drink, do happy hour. Now my kids are older, so they're not always home anymore. But when my kids are babies, I was at home, I was making dinner. I was doing homework. I was doing sports games. I was doing all the little mommy stuff, right? And then on the weekends, I'm appointment only. And I try to leave Sundays for my family. When my kids were little, we went boating all the time. Lake Mead, 45-minute drive there, 45-minute drive home. From Sunday morning at 8 o'clock to Sunday night at 6 o'clock, we were at the lake. Almost every single day during the summer. During the winter, we were at Mount Charleston snowboarding. We were a very outdoorsy family. Saturdays is when I would take clients. If you needed me, you got 2 to 4 hours on a Saturday. I explained to my kids, depending on if they had a dance recital, if they had a soccer game, if they had a whatever. Sometimes I'd squeeze a buyer in the morning, sometimes I'd squeeze a seller in the afternoon, and I'd get it done. Date nights were Friday and Saturday night. Very methodical, but that's the way that it worked. And it gave me a very normal life. People think real estate has to be this crazy, chaotic life. It doesn't.
If you don't give people their schedule, they're going to give you theirs, and their schedule for you is 24/7, 365. When you give them yours, they go, okay, so I got to do this Saturday night? Yep. What about Sunday? It goes, family day for me.
But let me tell you why. Can I tell you why I was able to do this?
Yeah.
It was choices.
I know.
And I want to tell you again, choices. Because when I got into this business, I didn't get into it as a hobby. I got into this business and I wanted to be the best. I wanted to be an expert. I didn't realize how good I was going to be able to become, but I'm still learning even today. Today I was on courses.
You didn't choose a job, you chose a career.
A career.
And
if I'm going to do it,
I'm going to treat it as a career, which is, I can't work every Sunday and be happy in a career. Nobody would. Who would want to do that? No one would.
Nope.
You didn't do that.
No.
You know what's funny? You know what your clients did? Okay, cool. I'll see it at 5 o'clock. Does that work for you? 5 o'clock Saturday?
Yep.
Does that work? No, you don't do Sundays. We do 8 a.m. Monday. See, we think that we have to do whatever the client says.
Oh, yeah.
The very good ones, the very best ones say, hey, Sunday, I have 3 kids. I have a husband I enjoy. That's a family day. By the way, nothing's going to change. We can see it Saturday night at 5 or Monday morning at 8. You don't miss out on houses. Let's just be honest. You don't, right?
Well, but let me tell you how you do that. Why agents do that, it's an insecurity.
100%.
It's an insecurity. They think that the client will go to somebody else. If you've already proven your value to the client, if you know that okay, a car is a car. We get it, right? Why does a Toyota Corolla sell for $20,000?
Why does a Ferrari do ads?
Yeah, Ferrari doesn't do ads because they know their clientele they know who their clientele is, they know they're gonna buy them. They're not advertising to the mass public. I don't need to advertise to the mass public either. I need my people. So if I've already displayed my value to you, either by A, my online presence, you're looking me up, let's say you're a brand new client. B, you were referred to me, so somebody's already sung my praises. C, I've had a consultation with you, buyer or seller, and now you verbally understood what my value is. D, I've given you some print or online material that has shown you my value. I followed up, I've done everything I said I was going to do, and then we're meeting. you're going to wait for me. See, if you call a doctor today and it's the best doctor in the world and they're like, they can't get you until March. Now, assuming you're not dying, right? Are you going to wait for him or are you going to be like, no, I'm just going to go to the other doctor that can get me in January?
Nope. This is so critically important to say. She's learned the power of the gentle no. By the way, when a client says, nope, either it's me on Sunday at 10 or nothing, how many clients have you said, I'm not your girl? I'm not the right fit. That's okay. That doesn't work for me. By the way, if you don't learn to say no in real estate, you have no chance of winning. Because it's what you say no to that makes you the most money, not what you say yes to. And the reality is, your best clients know your value, know who they are, and they're not going to argue with you that you want to have a family day on a Sunday. Because you know what? They have families too. They have stuff too. All right, let's move to, so learn the art of the gentle no. That's the first thing. Secondly, let's go into this place that I think this is so amazing. Jeff Bezos just bought a $165 million house. I understand it right?
Just a little bit of money.
You have worked with, I know a few of your folks that have worked with, they bought the most expensive houses in all of Nevada. You also work with the hostess who makes $48,000 a year. Her husband's a bartender. He makes $61,000, and you've fought like crazy to get them a house. So we're going to go two things here. The luxury elite people, they don't have the same problem as the person that combined income of $125,000 trying to buy a house. So
wait, $125,000. Why don't we talk about the school teachers that are making $55,000 and don't have a boyfriend or a husband and they're buying by themselves?
Okay,
I just told a girl that 2 months ago.
So somebody goes to me, what's the market like in Vegas? I go, depends what market it is. The California people that are coming over from the fires and everything else, different deal. So give me the luxury market update, and then let's go into the reality market update of the 50, $100,000 people. Start with the luxury. What's the luxury market like here in Vegas today?
The luxury market is still on fire. And let me explain what I mean by on fire. I don't mean somebody lists their house, it sells tomorrow for $25 million the next day. No. It's on fire for what it is, right? Meaning, so let me explain. So I had a house, I'm going to give you a perfect example, an actual real life example. I had a $15 million listing. $15 million listings normally in Las Vegas can take up to a year to sell. Could sell quicker, could take up to a year. I had about 50 people with verified funds, because no one gets into a $15 million house by just being a looky-loo. Yeah. Verified funds that had hundreds of millions of dollars in the bank coming out to look at this property. Now, the difference with those people are they're going to buy what they're going to buy when they want to buy it. You're not going to push them. You're not going to motivate them like, the sky's falling. Sellers going to take the house off the market. If they want the house, they're going to buy it. They're going to make the deal happen. There can be some negotiation room, but there are so many people with money right now, Steve, I can't even tell you. They're the ultra rich and the rich of the rich, and the people coming out of California and coming out of Texas and coming out of
money
Seattle,
means
Chicago.
Nothing
to them. Even today, people are talking about, stock market's changing. Yeah, they take a little bit of a hit, but they're not affected.
They don't care.
So there's still a plethora of those buyers. Can I give you a little stat?
We're sitting here in Southern Highlands, right? You and I both know, if you want that house, you want this, you want to play in this golf club, you want this thing, it happens, right?
Yep.
So keep going.
So let me give you a quick little stat. In Nevada, you can look this up. It's Southern Nevada, so Las Vegas, a proper area, let's call it Clark County. Prior to 2020, we'd only ever sold 40 homes over $15 million, right? That's an actual real
2020,
stat.
okay.
Yeah, prior to 2020, in the history of Las Vegas, now granted there's inflation, money, everything, right? There's inflation, things change. But from 2020 to 2022, we doubled that stat in 2 years. So history of Las Vegas,
You did 80
doubled it.
homes
Plus,
over
80 plus.
15 million.
Yep.
And you did 40 from 2000 to
History.
2000.
No,
Holy
history
shit.
of Las Vegas to 2020.
Holy shit.
So money is coming. The market is changing.
How do you attack that? How do you engage that? How do you find those people to become your people? What do you do?
I'll give you a perfect example. What I'm doing tonight. When I'm done with you tonight, I was
You're
invited.
done with me?
I'm
Don't say
never
done
done
with
with
me.
you.
Say like you'll be back with me. But okay,
I'm back with
continue.
you.
Yeah, there we go.
But basically what it is, it's getting in the right circles. So you have to find where the money is, and you have to go and work with those people. So let me tell you how I find it. What I'm doing tonight, I'm going to go meet with some wealth managers that are not in Las Vegas. They are in town to visit, but they don't live here. And they deal with clientele only that have liquid $10 million or more. The floor is $10 million clients, liquid. So that means if you have $10 million liquid, your assets are probably 50 million, 100 million. I mean, that's not everything that they own, right? So you have to put yourself in those circles.
This is an important thing. What she chose to do was, instead of hunting one client, she chose to find,
the money
you could
guys.
do a divorce attorneys. You could do wealth managers. You could do high-end accountants.
Charities.
Charities.
Charity events.
You went and found wealth managers because, by the way, what's the state tax in Nevada?
Oh, none.
0. Weird. By the way, what's our natural disasters, earthquakes, tornadoes,
None.
Oh, there's none. Okay. So now what's happening is people are like, I'm done with this. I want to come to a place.
Yeah.
And you went to wealth managers whose clients have to start at 10 million liquid. So one wealth manager might have 5, 10, 15, 20 opportunities. 5 wealth managers, which is where you're going tonight.
Yeah.
She's not coming to dinner with me. She's going to this. Smart girl. And now you've got 50, 60, 70 people who could choose to move to Vegas anytime they want, anywhere they want.
Well,
at their
this
own
one
time
meeting
frame.
tonight could change the whole trajectory of my career. It could change my life. It could change my kids' lives. It could change my grandkids' lives, depending on what I can build out of it. Now, the key is you have to know opportunity. So the moment that was presented to me, I was like, hell yes, I don't care where I'm at. I will make it happen.
I'm in.
Because I see the opportunity. And now, are they going to refer me clients tonight? I mean, maybe, but probably not. That's going to be a relationship building process.
Okay, so you know what you are? You're right there. Or they're right there. They're at the dock 20 yards from the beach. You're on the beach. All you're doing is putting stepping stones towards that dock to get to them. This is what people don't understand. Relationship building takes weeks, months, years, especially at that level.
Yep.
What people don't do is they want a deal today. She doesn't give a shit if this thing takes her 3 years to get one wealth manager of the 5 that are there. Because that one guy will have 10 to 15 to 20 people who can go, I have the realtor for you.
Yep.
You want to go to, now you're ready to go to Vegas 2 years later,
Yep.
3 years later, 6 months later, whatever, I have the realtor for you. You can't want relationships to happen today. Realtors make this mistake, and I tell this to salespeople all the time. Stop asking questions your relationship doesn't justify. What I love about you is you never ask a question your relationship does not justify. You know what you do? You work on the relationship. Stepping stone, stepping stone. Tonight's a stepping stone. And then, by the way, I guarantee you after you leave there and those 5 guys are all there with all their 5, 15, 20 people, are you going to follow up?
Oh, absolutely.
Are you going to call them again?
Oh,
You say,
if
when
I
you're in
can-
town, I host you.
If I could go to their town for their birthday, I'm going to fly in. Like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. Let me tell you.
All right, now, Princess, let's go to the reality.
Okay.
Vegas.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher. My husband's a bartender.
Yep.
We make a combined income of what? 95, 110, 105.
Yeah.
Rates are 6.8%. How you doing that?
Okay, so I'm going to give you a real life example.
Yep.
I got cutest girl. She's been a teacher for 5 years. She's not married, no boyfriend. She's buying the house on her own. Makes $65,000 a year. This is a very real life possibility, right? She's renting. I've been telling her for a couple of years. She's actually friends with my little sister. I have a sister that's quite a bit, 15 years younger than me. I go, you have to buy, you have to buy, you have to buy, you have to buy. You're renting, you're throwing money around. Finally, I convince her. So she goes and gets qualified. Payment's going to be like $3,200 a month. Now, this is a lot of money for somebody who's making 65.
Oh, yeah, big number.
And I tell her, I said, you got to do it, and I got to tell you why. I said, let me help you. You will not regret it in the long run, because here's the difference. Let me give you how this spun off. My little sister, who's also a school teacher, 3rd grade, Clark County school teacher, she's 27 years old. She bought a house 4 years ago. She bought the house 4 years ago for $210,000.
What's it worth today?
We sold it in November, $325,000.
Where else could you make $110,000 in 4 years?
That's what I just said.
Legally.
So here's what I say.
Legally.
Here's what I say. So let's divide that by 4. Let's just go easy math, $25,000. Technically it was $27,500, but I put this on Facebook. I said, if I'm a school teacher, can you tell me if you're waiting to buy, can you outsave what the market's going to do? Can you save $27,500 a year if you're a school teacher making $65,000 a year? Absolutely not. I don't care if you're making $100,000 a year. You're not saving $27,500. You're just not doing it. So I said, so if you can't outsave the market, you need to jump in. So let me tell you what we did. We found her a beautiful townhouse that had just been remodeled, about 15 years old. It was a 4-bedroom. It was a 3-story. Now, not everyone loves 3 stories, but hear me out. 2-car garage, 3-story townhome. This is why it's important. Bedroom on the 1st level, bedroom on the 2nd level, 2 bedrooms upstairs. Here's what I tell her. I said, what are you paying in rent? She tells me she's paying in rent, about $2,400 a month. I go, okay. You rent out the downstairs bedroom. It's 2 floors below you. You guys have a living room in between you. You're on the 3rd level. You rent this out for $1,000 a month. Now you're paying less than you were just paying in rent. You're taking the tax savings. This person gets a 1-car garage spot. No one's renting anything for $1,000 a month. I mean, you couldn't even
Zero
go.
chance.
Yeah, nowhere. I said, you probably can get $1,250 from another school teacher. Put her on the downstairs level. It's exactly what she did. She found another school teacher. Put her on the downstairs level. They have, and now, remember I told you there's a bedroom on the 2nd level? So what she did was she made that the school teacher's private living room. So each person has their own living room, their own bathroom, their own bedroom, one-car garage, access to a backyard. They never even have to get on top of each other. The only thing they share is the kitchen. And she's paying less now in rent, or in her mortgage, than she was paying in rent. And any school teacher that would take that opportunity, because
If
she
you
can
would
get
like to make money in
$1,000
real
a month.
estate, this is code for call Jillian Batchelor. That's what
And now
this
she's
is
going to
code
get tax savings. Now she owns, and she's going to be able to outpace the market because it's going to appreciate.
I love that you're so passionate about a house. It's probably worth $350,000.
It was $333,000. Wait, let me tell you what else I did. I went to the seller. I said, "Seller, this is a teacher. I need you to pay the teacher's closing costs." Seller paid the teacher's closing costs.
I love you.
She did FHA 1% down
I
program.
love you.
1% down. So she got in for $3,300, which was less than if she went to re-rent. She'd be putting down first month's rent, last month's rent, security deposit, whatever. She'd be paying more in rent deposits than it was for her to own the property. Sellers paid all of her closing costs, and she got a discounted rate from a credit union.
Easy to see why you love her right here. Okay, all right. Rapid fire now, 10 questions. You ready?
Okay, go.
Favorite color?
Pink, hot pink. It's got to be hot pink. Vibrant and big and just like my personality. Crazy.
God, I love you. All right. Best ever first date?
Oh, best ever first date was with my husband, James. I knew on the first date. We went to Red Robin. Nothing fancy, you guys. I was 22.
Red Robin?
We went to Red Robin.
Keep going.
4 hours at Red Robin. Tell me how you spend 4 hours at Red Robin. It's impossible, but I knew I was going to marry him that date. Took a picture of him. I said, "I'm taking this picture of you sitting on my couch." I only kissed him. Nothing else crazy. I'm a lady. Okay? And then I knew I was going to marry him.
I love it. Okay. Best ever pure date. Not first, I never. Best ever date.
Best ever date. Okay, so best ever date. I had someone who actually took me into a private chef's area of a restaurant. The chef did us a 12-course meal. It was amazing. You know me, I eat little bits of each
You
one.
ate 12 courses?
And then took me on a helicopter ride over the strip, which was beautiful. It was amazing.
Did he get he won?
Yeah, he won.
Okay, good
Yeah,
job.
it was great.
All right. Best ever kiss?
Oh, best ever kiss. Okay, so I had a guy that I met, went on a date with, became my boyfriend, but went on a date with him. And okay, you said this like raw podcast,
Raw
right?
podcast.
Okay,
Do it
so
you.
we're sitting on the date. He's super nice, great accent, so sweet, Southern boy. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm gonna eat this man alive. He's too soft for me.
He's too nice for you. You're going to kill him. Yeah.
Too nice. He walks me out to my car, goes to give me a kiss, and he grabs my neck, and I was like, I just fell in love with this man. And my butt. Okay, so he grabbed a little bit of both. But I was like, all right.
Grabbed your neck, grabbed your butt, and gave you a kiss and just.
And I was like, all right, I'm here for it. And then that gave him a second date, and that's how he became my boyfriend. A little bit of spice. I need a little bit of spice. Hey, you said we could be raw with it.
All
right?
right.
Don't be too much of a gentleman.
By the way, that's a little salty, a little sugar, not all sugar.
Yeah.
All right, I love it. Neck and butt, cute. All right, worst ever client.
Oh, worst ever client. Okay, I get this woman from a divorce attorney.
Oh God.
Now, this is her attorney, because the way that attorneys work, they have to refer out 3.
Yeah.
Her
His,
attorney.
hers, theirs.
Yep.
Got it.
So you have to refer out 3. I meet her. I win. At the time, I'm married. She tells me, as soon as I walk in, she tells me, "Oh, I hope you're not married. I hate men. Men are terrible." I'm like conveniently like I'm turning the ring behind my hand, like trying to hide it. Like, I'm not married. What are you talking about? She tells me, she says she was married to this gentleman for 1 year.
Oh,
they were
God.
only together 2 years. She was like, "I want to ruin him." She was like, "I don't care if this house sells for $1 as long as he gets 50 cents. And I was like, "Well, that's not my fiduciary. I can't really like undermarket the property like that." She was like, "I don't care. I want to ruin him." She was letting her dog pee all over the carpet. She was letting her dog, she was like rubbing the dog's feces all over the wall. She wanted that. She was living in this house, mind you. Gorgeous, multi-million-dollar house, but she wanted to ruin him. And for me, that was difficult because it goes against everything in my realtor heart. I wanted to clean up the house. So I would have her leave for showings and I'd be cleaning the dog feces off the wall because I'm trying to sell the house. And she'd come back and yell at me for doing these things. And I'm like, she tried to do everything she could do to sabotage the sale. Luckily, it went through after a long time. And then she accused me of sleeping with her husband. I never even met the man one time. She accused the buyer of sleeping with her husband. The buyer's agent was almost a 70-year-old congresswoman at the time.
Oh, gosh.
She accused her of sleeping with her husband. This lady was off her rocker. So divorce sales can be difficult. Emotional sales.
That's your worst one. Best ever.
Oh, best sale. Okay, I'll tell you this. Best sale. Client, and they're still friends of mine to this day. I met them. They were getting a divorce. During the short sale days, financial constraints are one of the biggest things that cause marriages to end in divorce. Sure. Husband and wife, they're fighting at each other. They're at each other's throats the entire time. They have a daughter, wonderful couple. They're like, "We're getting divorced. We need short sell this house, put us in 2 rentals." We short sold the house. By the time we allowed them to rent back the house for about a month, by the time the financial constraints were gone, they decided to stay together. That was in 2008. They're still married to this day. They didn't get divorced, thank God. So I feel like I had a little piece of like saving their marriage.
I love you. Drink of choice.
I'm an iced tea drinker. Iced tea.
No, adult beverage drink.
Okay,
of choice.
okay. So if it's
Don't
adult
give me
beverage,
some horseshit iced tea.
okay. If it's adult beverage, I like an old fashioned, but extra sweet and double cherries.
Where do you go to get that?
So
All right.
yeah, you know what? I wasn't a bourbon, but I do Woodford Reserve or like a double oak barrel.
I love everything about it. Favorite meal?
Oh, I'm a steak girl. Steak, I want it charred. I want it medium rare, but I want the outside charred.
Favorite meal to cook for someone?
Oh, lasagna. I'm Italian.
How do you make it? Walk me through it.
So actually my daughter's great at this too, but my grandmother used to do the noodles and everything. She had a noodle maker. So if I have that much time, I'll do the noodles, I'll do the ricotta, I'll do the mozzarella cheese, we'll fresh cut the basil. I mean, everything will be from scratch.
So I'm married to an Italian gal for 34 years. Her grandmother, Agnes, who never ate a vegetable, who was 100 pounds overweight, lived to be 93. And she measured her affinity for she had 4 granddaughters, and I was dating the youngest of the 4. And how much you ate determined how much she liked you.
Oh shoot, I would lose right now.
Well, here's what happened. You would lose. So first time I went, she's like, and you know how the grandmas talk to you like you're not there?
Yeah.
He doesn't eat. He doesn't eat anything.
Yeah.
He
What's
had
wrong
one
with him?
serving. What's wrong with him? He doesn't eat. So I starved myself every Sunday because Sunday dinner was at
So you would
grandma's.
just eat a ton.
So I would eat, and I would tell the new guys, I go, you want their tip? Bro, you want the, here's the deal. Don't eat anything all day and come to this. Because you have 2 helpings, you're average, 3 helpings, she likes you. So good tip. Okay. Best advice you would give a brand new agent in today's market of the moment real estate. What would you tell them they have to do? One thing.
Proximity. Go find somebody that you want to model. Don't ask for anything. Ask if you can shadow them. You want to learn off of them. You want to learn, get advice from them. Get a mentor, get a coach, get advice. You need proximity. And I would say that to any agent. Today, I'm getting in proximity of those doing better than me. Be around those that are doing better.
I met you, and you were good, but you weren't great. And now you're great.
Oh, I'm getting
And you
great.
still, no, you're great. And you still do it. This is important. In real estate, it's not difficult. It's just really hard. And you learned, like, what room can I be in that is better than where I am? Because if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the absolute wrong room. True or true?
Absolutely.
So you still today, as good as you are, top 1/4% in the state of Nevada, one of the most admired females in the world in real estate, you're still looking for the room where you can be the smallest person in the room. True or true?
Do you know that I left 3 real estate companies?
I know.
I left 3 real estate companies
know.
because I was the #1 agent or the #1 team each time.
You didn't like it?
Once you get to the top, there's nowhere else you can go. You just coast. So you can't get any better. So I left at the top each and every time to go to a company where I wasn't going to be at the top. And what's funny that you say that, you know a good girlfriend of mine, Spring Benson,
That's
who
one
I
of my favorite
love.
humans in the world.
I love. And I love going to events when I'm around her. Because see, when I'm in Las Vegas as a female in real estate, I'm kind of like one of the top dogs.
You are.
When I go in Springs World,
You are the top dog, but continue.
when I go in Springs World, I'm just Jillian. I'm nothing
But
special.
You know what's different about this, and this is important if you're watching. She's always like, and you say this to me all the time, what nugget can I get from this event?
Oh, absolutely.
What one thing could I learn that I could take that one thing? Because one good idea, one good concept, one good platform can make you tens of thousands of dollars for the next
Or millions.
5, 10 years.
Yeah.
100%. Okay, good point. I'm a woman. What one womanly advice would you say? I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I've got this, and I'm in real estate. What one piece of advice would you give them that they could help them going forward?
There's no ceiling for you. There is absolutely, in anything, not just financially. There's no ceiling. Don't believe the bullshit that you can't have it all. You absolutely can. But you have to choose to have it all.
Say it again.
It starts with you.
You can have it all. See what
You
she
can
just
have it
said?
all. You absolutely can, but it starts with you. You have to choose to go for it. Can I tell you really quick somewhere I failed?
Please,
Actually, I've had a lot of failures,
please.
but you know, for many, many years, I was making a ton of money. I was crushing it in the real estate industry,
But you weren't happy.
but I wasn't crushing it physically.
No.
I was heavy. I was a lot heavier than I was today.
First of all, she was never heavy. She was voluptuous.
Very thick.
I'm voluptuous.
I was very thick.
Voluptuous.
I didn't work out. I used to joke. I used to say, oh, I'm allergic to a gym. I can't walk into a gym. I love to eat. I'm Italian. I was eating all the time, and I was eating a lot of meals, and I was eating a lot of meals on the go because you're in real estate. You're running, right? Cooking, running, doing all these things. And 2 really amazing realtors changed my life with that. Dan Beer out of San Diego.
Danny Beer.
He's a beast, amazing. and Spring. And if you look at both of them, they're in peak physical shape. And not only are they in peak physical shape, they do physically hard things. Dan's climbed Mount Everest, I think 15 times or something crazy.
Kilimanjaro, no, Dan has climbed of the top 20 mountains. He's got like 14. He hasn't done Everest yet, but he's trending.
Okay.
Please don't do Everest because people die there.
Yeah, people
love you,
die.
Dan, don't do
people
that.
die.
Yes.
And Spring, she does 29 on 29. She jumps off mountains. We jump out of planes together. And when I got in their world, Dan said something to me. He said, when I go up on stage, he's one of the biggest realtors at one of the biggest real estate companies in the world. He goes, when I go on
By the
stage.
way, Kyle Whistle beat you this year, and
He
I'm talking
did.
shit about you, and you owe me dinner because we have dinner with the three. I have dinner with the three of them every year. Dan has won a lot of this. This year, Dan, you're paying because Kyle won.
Kyle won. And Kyle's an amazing piece too. But Dan said to me, and I told him this, I just saw him last month, and he said to me, and I told him this changed my life. He said, when I get on stage to lead people, and I go to these conventions where there's 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people, he goes, they need to see that I'm fit in all things, mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, all the things. And he was like, and so I want to be in peak physical shape. And that moment right there, I was sitting in the bar with him, Carly Ray. We're sitting in a bar in San Diego.
I know.
And that moment changed my life. I said,
I was there. It was our event, actually.
Yep, you're right. And that moment changed my life. And I said, I'm going to get in the best physical shape of my life. And I did.
You do something that I love you for a lot of reasons, but this is one of them. Her audio matches her video. So many people. Jillian was never overweight. She was never fat. That's bullshit. She was voluptuous. But she didn't feel good. Yeah. You didn't feel great, right? And you're like, I'm going to go focus on this. And I said, there's nobody that can be great if your personal life and your business life, you can't be great in business life and be, you have to, they're both. Your audio has to match your video. All right, last question. As we sit here today, real estate, 25 better than 24. It's already starting off that way. But there's no easy button.
Oh, God, no.
There's no da-da-da. If you had to have one skill set, intangible or tangible, what one skill set do you have to have in real estate in order to be great at it? What is it?
I'm going to tell you my choice, and I'm going to say it's confidence. But let me tell you where confidence comes from. Keeping the promises you've made to yourself above anybody else, above your children, above your family, above your business owners, your team, your lead. And I'll tell you, that's actually one of the reasons why when I started working out, it wasn't so much, I mean, I did want to be in the best physical shape of my life, but it was more though, once I made that decision, I made the decision and I made it for me.
Did you get more discipline as being a mom? More discipline as being a wife? More discipline as being a realtor? More discipline as being everything in your life as soon as you made that decision?
Absolutely. 100%. Because the key is that we as women especially, but men do this too, but we as women, we will do everything for everyone else and we'll constantly break the promises we make to ourselves.
Oh, I love
so for me, I made the promise to myself, I'm going to get in the best physical shape of my life because more importantly than just physically, I wanted to live for my kids. I want to see when I become a grandma. And I want to be able to go and take my grandkids to the park and go climb mountains with them and mountain bike and do all these things. And so I thought, okay, I've done all this for everyone else. I've built this business, it's great, but what am I doing for me? So for me, it's about doing something mentally hard every day. And on the mornings when I didn't want to wake up, because sometimes I don't go to bed till midnight, and I still get up at 5:20 in the morning. And when that alarm goes off and I'm thinking to myself, am I going to go to the gym? Am I not going to go to the gym? The one thing I say to myself is, are you keeping the promises you made to yourself? And when I do that, when I get up and when I go to the gym, everything else the rest of the day becomes easier. Because now I have confidence, back into the real estate part, so now I've already slaughtered my morning. So now when I walk into that listing appointment, when I walk into my office, when I walk to make sales calls, when I walk to get a price reduction or I go to negotiate an offer, I'm confident because I know who I am. I keep the promises to myself. So if I keep the promises to myself, of course I keep the promises to you, Mr. Buyer or Seller.
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the most successful realtors in the United States, one of my favorite humans in the world, Miss Jillian Batchelor.
Thank you for having me.